Hi everyone, welcome to tonight's panel sponsored by SnapFingers and Topoblock. I'm your host XY. Before we start, you can scan the QR code on screen to join our community and participate in lucky draws. During live streaming, we will draw 8 lucky winners to get 1 SOL for each. So tonight we have Ming Ho, Head of Growth at Coin98, Dennis Lee, founder of Dexlab, Alex Gribnev, co-founder of Oxygen Protocol and Maps, Alpha Ray from the community of Raydium Protocol, and Ming, co-lead of Mercurial Finance. It's a great pleasure to have you all with us. Welcome, everyone. Cool, you can say hi.
Hello. Thank you.
Oh, cool.
Hello. Hi, guys.
So compared to Solana, Ethereum has been around us for years, and people in this industry have experienced lots of projects based on Ethereum. However, people who are not familiar with Solana most likely do not know very well about the projects on this new public blockchain. The guests we have tonight are from some of the main projects in Solana ecosystem. Can you briefly introduce your projects to us, and what are the blueprints for your roadmaps? So let's start with Ming, please.
Sure. So hi everyone, Ming here from Coin98. And first I would like to thank SnapFingers and Topoblock for hosting and inviting me for this amazing event. So back to the question. Some of you may have known us for our core product, which is the Coin98 wallet. So in short, it is like a non-custodial and multi-chain wallet and DeFi gateway. But then what makes it really different from other wallet out there? So we do have a few extra features that is like highlight and make it easier for users to enter and enjoy the Solana ecosystem. So let's start with the mobile app, right? User can manage all the SPL addresses under one single SOL wallet. So like super convenient. And we also like integrate with Serum Dex V3 natively. So imagine you can just go there and swap tokens seamlessly and without even have to like visiting the DS browser. Also, we also have like cross-chain bridge built in. And this will help to like, you can swap some supported token, let's say USDT from SPL or ERC20 tokens to SPL tokens. So there's that. So that's the mobile app. And for our extension wallet, we have one unique features, which is multi-sig. So this is really useful for like projects like you guys want to do airdrop to the community that have to send like to multiple addresses at the same time. Then yeah, we can help you with that. So as for the roadmap, our future plans, beside updating our wallet with like more features, and of course it's really related to the Solana ecosystem. We're also building other projects. So this is like a sneak peek for you guys, which will be revealed later on 2021. Yeah, 2021.
Cool. So next, Dennis, please.
Sorry. So hi everyone. I'm Dennis, founder of Dexlab. So Dexlab aims to be the Solana entry hub, and our platform will provide a beautiful GUI with a one-click solution for users to able to mint and list SPL tokens. So we aim to be concert the project in every steps of the way, and from the token minting and then to do IDO and more. So also the blueprints for our roadmap are gonna be the token management system, which would include the ability to mint and list and manage tokens. Then the second part of our blueprint would be the NFT management system.
Cool. Next, Alex Gribnev, please.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for giving me a chance to talk a little bit about Oxygen and Maps. So Oxygen is kind of DeFi financial market infrastructure, which starts off with prime brokerage. I think when you look at the biggest challenge of DeFi is that there's not too many people really using that in the grand scheme of things. So kind of the order of magnitude is kind of 1 million users. And what we want to do is to change that. And what we are focused on is building finance without Wall Street. And we want to do that as fast as we can. And that means on the one hand, user-friendly products, and on the other hand, kind of scalable DeFi infrastructure and connecting them with a critical mass. So beginning with prime brokerage, Oxygen will replicate a range of products offered by investment banks, including volatility trading, structured products. So it will enable the delivery of these services to individuals, institutions alike, democratizing access of everyone to sophisticated investment and risk management and liquidity solutions. A bit about MAPS. My partner Victor and I, so we bought MAPS at the end of last year. MAPS.me at the end of last year. What is it? It's a mobile app which has been around for 10 years. It's the world's leading offline mapping application, which has been downloaded more than 140 million times. Around 60 million people used it last year to kind of navigate in 195 countries. Now, half of these users, based on our research, actually want related financial capabilities embedded in the app. When you think about it, just think about it for a second. That's a bigger user base, and most fintechs have after years and years and years of growth, and it's actually larger than the size of the crypto community today. So MAPS.me from this perspective is really the perfect gateway for DeFi mass adoption. So starting with Oxygen protocol. So to start, so Oxygen will provide MAPS users with access to a passive income product. So MAPS users will essentially be able to earn yield by lending their stored value to finance other people's digital portfolios. They essentially become prime brokers engaged in collateralized lending with a sophisticated risk management functionality in the backend, happening automatically. With the potential to connect millions of MAPS.me users with Oxygen, means that we can actually add liquidity to the overall ecosystem, and that in turn kind of attracts big institutional players. And when you think about it, kind of the whole ecosystem around Oxygen is made possible by kind of Solana's massive throughput and ultra low costs. And the fact that the Oxygen itself is built on the growing and liquid Serum ecosystem, which itself leverages on-chain order books to manage borrowers and lenders. So Solana is basically critical to continue growth of DeFi, and we're very focused on making Oxygen MAPS a success, and hopefully we'll develop the whole Solana ecosystem as well.
Cool. So next, Alpha Ray from Raydium protocol.
Hi guys, I'm Alpha Ray from Raydium. So Raydium is an on-chain AMM built on top of Solana. What makes us really different from the other AMMs out there is that all the liquidity placed in our liquidity pools get turned into limit orders and placed onto Serum order books. So this means that users can use the Serum DEX to interact with liquidity that we've placed in there, and we can also target a much larger audience for providing liquidity for. In addition to providing liquidity, we also have several yield farming projects, which include basic farms and also fusion pools, which are pools where users can provide liquidity to their favorite projects and then earn additional rewards from those projects in the form of those tokens. On top of that, we have also started an IDO platform, which has been doing pretty well recently. And we're hoping that a lot more projects come in through this platform. In the near future, we are working on the sushi partnership, which is a partnership we have with Sushi, where we will be providing the backend and liquidity for a bunch of sushi pools on top of Solana. And in our future, we just aim to be the biggest trading hub on top of Solana.
Yeah, cool. And Ming.
Yeah, so at Mercurial, we're building what we consider to be like dynamic vaults for stables, right? So essentially, dynamic vaults are what you consider to be like market-making vaults, right? So basically, you have a pool of assets that you can trade within, right? And high efficient and low slippage trading. And on top of the low slippage trading, right, we also implementing two important features, right, which we call that make it more dynamic, right? So in today's market making system, right, it is quite static. The fees are static, and also the capital just stays in the pool, right? It doesn't actually move. It stays in the pool. So what we are working on is that we are working on number one, obviously the low slippage swaps, but also two things: dynamic fees and dynamic capital allocation. So dynamic fees means that like the fees will be updated according to market conditions, right? So in traditional market making, when the volume is very high, demand is very high, the market makers will charge a higher spread, right? And then when the demand is low, market makers will charge a lower spread, right? So what we do is that we implement a similar model to actually adjust the dynamic fees according to the market demand, right? So this will actually help the LPs get more profit when need to, and encourage more trading fees when they do need to. The second thing we are working on is working on the idea of like dynamic capital allocation, which is basically, okay, instead of having all the capital be in the pool, right, we can actually actively deploy it to either fresh loans, right, or to lending, or to leverage lending, right, or to yield farm, right, depending on the risk appetite of the user. Yeah, so we think that so essentially if you put everything together, right, the low slippage, stocks, dynamic fees, and the dynamic capital allocation, right? What we are trying to do is we're trying to make a capital system, right, that maximize the capital utilization. Yeah, that really try to that every cent that gets put in the system is actually maximized and recycled to the ecosystem. Yeah, so that is actually the core focus of what we're building, right? And the reason why we're building on Solana essentially is because there are a number of things that we want that you actually find hard to do on Ethereum, right? For example, if you want to do dynamic fees, the amount of data you actually need to run, like you actually want to run like pretty good algorithms, right? And then the number of amount of data and the complexity you can store on Ethereum is quite limited, right? And secondly, for example, right, say you want to execute a more complicated financial transaction, right? That means, like, for example, you want to be able to loan the capital out, and then when the user requires it for swapping, to pull it back and allow for the swap in the same transaction. So those things are very expensive in Ethereum. They'll cost you $500, right? But we think that on Solana, we've done some modeling, and we think that we can actually do it very effectively. Yeah. So I think, we think that there's a chance for us to really kind of stretch the limit, right? For what we can build in terms of financial systems. Yeah, and I think our goal really is that, right? Kind of like how do we kind of provide better infrastructure, right? Right now we're focused on stables, right? But really around like capital infrastructure. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thank you for sharing. After hearing this, it looks like last year DeFi on Ethereum has brought us like a great fortune. It looks like DeFi is gonna still rock on Solana on this new blockchain, right? Thank you for sharing. As far as we know, Solana is a public blockchain based on proof of history, which does not rely on sharding to solve the problems we are encountering occasionally on Ethereum right now, like delayed transactions. Not only Ethereum, in fact, since the conception of blockchain, many different blockchain networks have dealt with this issue, low TPS. So Solana, however, is built to be the blockchain with peak transaction times of over 65,000 TPS and 400 millisecond block times. So Solana uses a whole different design of architecture, such as POH, pipeline, turbine, sea-level, cloud break, etc., to make the whole network perform smoothly and swiftly like a super sports car. So we are wondering, right now we share the sense that Solana is blossoming, but to be specific, what stage is it for the roadmap of Solana, this new public blockchain at this moment? And it is still a good timing for investors to step in.
Sure. So I think that there's no doubt that the Solana ecosystem is like growing rapidly, and then we can see the highlight right now is being the Solana season hackathon. And I think this is like perfect time for investors to step in. And I mean, you guys don't have to take my word for it. However, we can see that already a handful of VCs that have poured money into the ecosystem already. And which I believe that the Series A is with multi-coin led the round. And also that if you look at the projects, right, like all these like awesome projects right here with us today, there's so many good ones building on Solana. So I mean, if you take both of that, right, a good ecosystem that attracts big investors and also like developers, builders, I think that is definitely worth paying attention to.
Cool. Dennis? What's your thought?
Yeah, okay. I don't want to do the financial advice here, but
Yeah, no
I think
financial advice.
Yeah, but I think it's a perfect timing for the investor to step in and then study the possibility that Solana is offering. So I think we are at a fruition stage, so where lots of projects are exploring and are coming in. So the possibilities that one has building on Solana blockchain are like so much wider. So thanks to its technology advantages. So when really good projects with the will like to succeed with a solid team and then good backing decide to build on Solana, so the blockchain community will notice. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Cool. Alex, what about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I concur with both Bean and Dennis. I think this is a very exciting time for Solana as DeFi comes closer to reaching a tipping point. Solana's build is essentially providing rails for projects like we're talking about here, and kind of an Oxygen that can help accelerate mass adoption of DeFi. And to me, mass adoption hasn't really started yet. So Solana's high speed and low cost give DeFi infrastructure, give the DeFi infrastructure that it needs, the DeFi needs to go mainstream, and kind of some other key components of that are, of course, Serum ecosystem for the DeFi to succeed. And as you look at Solana and broader DeFi sector, it needs projects like those on this panel to grow in number and succeed, right? So for Oxygen, this means proving that the alternative financial infrastructure can provide better solutions for institutions and high-frequency traders, as well as a broader base of individual investors. And I think as people pioneer and grow more kind of use cases before the kind of use of the chain, the more successful Solana itself it becomes. So again, no financial advice, but I think it's just very exciting time to be here, to be building on it, and just watch the ecosystem explode.
Cool. Alex. Oh, sorry. FR.
Okay. Yep. So Solana is definitely just starting to ramp up. When we first started building on it, there were maybe 3-4 projects launched on Solana. And right now we're talking to about 20-30 projects a week that are building, and they're ready to release the next couple of months. So we can definitely see a huge change over the past maybe 3 months actually. And also that the number of users on it has grown a lot. On Serum before, there were probably a few thousand users a day. Right now we're seeing about 50,000 users a day on Raydium alone. So we can definitely see a huge growth in user activity and in projects on the platform. It's definitely a good time to get in here and start building more.
Cool. And me, what's your thought? Do you agree that like everyone else, Solana is still on a very early, fresh stage right now for the time being?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very, very early. I think actually early, and it's actually very cool. I think I saw this comment once by a user, right? They said that like someone said on Twitter, a follower said on Twitter, they said that the energy in the Solana ecosystem right now actually feels very similar to the energy in Ethereum early on, right? And I think that it is true for 3 reasons, and I'll share with you those 3 reasons. I think the first reason is that actually it's actually the enthusiasm in the community, right? You know, I think you can look around actually all the other communities. I won't say names, but you don't really see you might see a lot of money in the community, but you don't really see the enthusiasm of the users, right? And actually really wanting to try out the new systems and new projects, right? I mean, we just recently launched our DevNet, right? And we got a few hundred reviews, right? And then and it was actually and they weren't spam. They were like really good reviews, right? And I was like, wow, this is amazing, right? We are really starting to see like we have I would say we have some of the we really pride ourselves on like going deep into the details and trying to figure out technical stuff. And then so as a result of that, we actually work very closely with a lot of like we actually dive deeply into kind of the architecture, right, of Solana. And then you know what? I think everywhere we look, right, we think that there's actually a lot of really talented people. right, working at different levels of the Solana ecosystem, right, building out like whether it is the deep infra, which is the Solana ecosystem, the blockchain, or it is like the core, like the key programs, or the libraries, or the apps, right? I think we just see a lot of talented people working on it. And the important thing is that because Solana is not EVM based, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a pain in the ass because you have to relearn everything, right? But at the same time, I think what we are seeing is that and we are seeing that the emergence of like just very talented developers, right, who are willing to just learn the low level valuable assets, right, are being created on Solana, right? And that is obviously because we are obviously seeing a lot of investor interest, right, in Solana these days. And I think that so I think in summary, I think the combination of users, developers, and money, right, I think that will actually drive a lot. I think that actually will drive Solana moving forward. And to add on, and one last point to that is that I think we're at the beginning. I think I think every ecosystem ends up being quite different. So I think we are at the beginning of what we are seeing, and ideally it turns out to be different from Ethereum, right? Because we don't really want to recreate Ethereum, right? We want to kind of figure out where we can go, and that's where projects like Maps is important, right? Because we kind of like see where we can go that Ethereum has never gone, so that's the thing for me.
Cool. So we do share a agreement that Solana is still on a very early age, just like we saw the vibe of Ethereum like years ago. Okay, thanks everyone. Now let's take a break. It's time for our first lucky draw tonight. We have 2 rounds of lucky draw. The rules are very simple. When I say go, you can type your Solana wallet address in the chat channel. Then I'll call 3, 2, 1, stop. Our staff will take the screenshot and draw 4 lucky guys out of the viewers. So guys, you can start to type your address. Ready? Go. 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay, that's for our first draw tonight. The result will later be reviewed in our community. Let's head back to our topic. So as we are talking, the ecosystem of Solana is now covering DeFi, NFT, infrastructure, games, wallet, tap, and development, of course. And it is spreading so fast that some may think Solana is going to be a great competitor of Ethereum, or even take over Ethereum in the future. What do you guys think? How the relationship between Solana and Ethereum is going to develop?
Right. So I kind of agree with what Ming was saying about the previous question, where we see the vibe of Ethereum back in the days, where the best builders are like filed during the bear market, right? And I think right now, I believe that like we can have like a healthy and more of like a positive some competition that can take place between Ethereum and Solana, right? And they can leverage from each other. So like, I mean, everyone here is like a believer of Solana and its capabilities, like let's say to overtake Ethereum. But my view is that, we will see like a world of like coexisting both Solana and Ethereum, and each doing their own job, and being like a replaceable part of the blockchain world. So I mentioned that will be the future for at least like the next maybe 5, 7, 6 years from now. And then from that point, we will see more of how each one will scale and how each one will actually serve each part of the users. Yeah.
Dennis? Yep.
Oh, sorry. I definitely agree with him too. Like, I think Ethereum is here to stay, but sadly, they made too many design mistakes early on, and I think they are fixing it now. But still, it has the biggest NFT market and the majority of DeFi TVL as of today as well. So I mean, Ethereum is still big, and then they're not gonna go away. And I mean, Solana is growing good, and then. But I think they can just help each other, like coexist. I don't think one project will like disappear because of this project.
Cool. Because you just mentioned like Ethereum is right now like making some decision mistake. So this little brother Solana is trying to like catch up, like when the big brother making mistake. Since now we are not on air, what do you guys think? Like Solana and Ethereum, it's gonna like Solana is gonna take over Ethereum place in the future, or because Solana is like it's designed designed like to be the like even more powerful when doing the DeFi things, the transaction, for example. Like, what do you guys think about this? So
I think it would just take a time, and then you know, like always there are new users, and then new users, you know, who doesn't know about Ethereum, and then they will get to know the Solana first, and then, you know, that way it will slowly change. But then I don't think, you know, just like Ethereum will go away soon, you know.
But it's gonna go away soon. Like no, but Ethereum, like on DeFi, let's like take this for example. It's like Ethereum is still the big brother in the whole industry, right? But we are facing the delayed transactions, the high gas fee, etc. things. Solana is doing great on this part, so
yeah. But yeah, still, like I think I have a lot of friends in the crypto, but then actually a lot of them still haven't used Solana. I mean, they know Solana and they bought the Solana, but then they haven't used the Solana. So I think once they use Solana, and then, you know, the pattern, I'm sure that like it will change eventually.
Yeah,
unless
just like you said,
Ethereum fix it. Yeah,
just like you said, I hold Solana, but I don't actually use it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. Where were we, Alex?
So Solana has clearly enabled the creation of kind of things like Oxygen in a way that Ethereum couldn't for now. So and creation something that would be ready for mass adoption, and looking at creating something institutional quality that works super fast without kind of necessarily much regard for the kind of cost of transactions. Having said all that, I think the Ethereum is still more widely used, right? And it's increasingly popular kind of in the world as crypto is embraced by the financial mainstream. So, and I think that's important and useful for all of us. And it means that the future of Ethereum, Solana will be interconnected one way or another. And I think the big part of overall challenge of the industry is achieving broad acceptance of innovations in it and having an impact on the world. So from this perspective, I think it helps us all, whether kind of both Solana and Ethereum prosper. And that's my view. So it's not about one killing the other, but I think it's about both being successful.
Alpha Ray, sorry. So you can talk about the last topic we are talking about. Yeah.
Solana, Ethereum, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So I always like to compare Solana and Ethereum to Volkswagen being Ethereum and Solana being like Tesla. Volkswagen is a bit older, it really dominates the market. A lot of things are built for it. And Tesla comes out of nowhere with new technology. Everything starts from scratch. And it takes a lot longer for it to ramp up. But it does have great technology, and we see Volkswagen making moves to be like Tesla as well, right? In the same way that we see that Ethereum is really addressing their gas fees and their speeds. So it's, in the end, you don't really see either of them dying out. There will be competitors, but they also serve the same purpose, and they do a greater good for everybody. So it's hard to say if anybody will win, but as long as they keep developing, I think everybody really takes it, right? Everybody gets the prize of just having a better DeFi or having a better decentralized ecosystem.
Yeah, it's a great point. But as you said, like Ethereum, they do have the user base compared to Solana, like Tesla, like you mentioned. Like, what do you think of this part? What about the user base? How do you like persuade these users to try Solana or even transfer from Ethereum to Solana?
Well, the first thing we're doing is that we're working with Sushi, right? We put up a page on their site and show users how to use Solana. Another thing is that cross-chain is one of the keywords these days as well. Everybody wants to be everywhere. And it's not about taking all of Ethereum's users. There's people who just like Ethereum, right? It's more about just creating Solana offers you a platform to build different things like Oxygen would not be able to be built on Ethereum, right? And Ethereum, Raydium, full order books can't be built on Solana. I mean, on Ethereum. It just doesn't work out for the mechanics of it. So they each serve their own purpose. And yeah, yeah.
So they don't really like going to compete with each other, right? In your opinion?
There is a limited set of users, right? If you consider that users are a scarce resource, there is a competition for the two of them. But there is some competition involved, but each will also have their own use cases in the end. And there's some things that you'll be able to do on Solana that you can't do on Ethereum, and the other way is around as well, just because of the size of Ethereum's user base, right?
Yeah, that's the point. Okay, cool. Thank you, FRA. Ming.
First things first, I'm actually a multi-chain maximalist in many ways. That means that actually my background is actually in Ethereum, right? And I spent quite a lot of time working on Handshake as well, and I also worked on WBTC, right? Which basically where we brought BTC to Ethereum, right? So that was one of my projects in 2019. So yeah, so I guess I can say I worked across a number of chains, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Handshake, and now Solana, right? And I think end of the day, right? All these chains, right? Like sometimes we get caught up in our own world, right? You know what I'm saying? And then we actually don't appreciate the other worlds, right? But one thing I tell for sure, I think the Ethereum community right now is extremely strong, right? We talk about the gas fees and everything, but the Ethereum community from our developers, I mean, the amount of libraries that we see on Ethereum, right? Whether, for example, Ethereum have like 4 or 5 different RPC providers, right? You know, and infra providers, and like a lot of standards, a lot of community-driven efforts, right? All these things are things that are very, very deep, right? So we are starting to see the same on Solana, but the developer base is actually the amount of like people who really understand how to use Ethereum, right? Versus the number of people who really understand how to use Solana, right? It's still relatively kind of small, right? Comparatively, yeah. So I think that's the first thing. I think that I think whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or one of those are OG chains, there really is a whole stack of like expertise and experiences that new chains will catch up on, right? Yeah, so that's the first thing that we have to understand. But on the other hand, I think, as I said earlier, right, I think of all the chains I see today, the new ones, I think Solana has by far the best chance, right, to really start building its own base, right? For a number of reasons. Number one is that it's a completely new tech stack, so it really attracts a new set of developers, right? And secondly, as I mentioned, I think it's also for some reason attracting a whole community of users, right, who are actually not on Ethereum, right? I think it's actually awesome because I think, as what Gamma said earlier, Alpha said earlier, I think I think Solana can grow the pie, right? We don't have to be focused on trying to suck in the users from Ethereum, but I think what we can do is that we can actually appeal to a whole set of users, right? And actually, a lot of people hate on BSC, right? But BSC did that. BSC actually kind of like made DP accessible to a lot of retail users who have never used DP before, right? So essentially my hope for Solana is that it can do 3 things, right? Number one, it can grow an ecosystem that is as powerful as Ethereum, right? Secondly is that we can attract a group of users that are not on Ethereum or anywhere, but we are growing the whole market of crypto, right? Yeah, and thirdly, obviously, I hope to see like use cases come up, right? I think that we're going to see those things happen on Solana. Yeah, I think if we do these 3 things, then I think Solana has a very, very good chance of being Ethereum, you know. And I'd love to see a world where Ethereum and Solana and Bitcoin and all these like really, really good chains can coexist and all of that add value.
Cool. Thank you. So, like, sum up, you guys think that Solana is gonna like do its own jobs more like a parallel things, not like competitive things, right? With Ethereum. Cool. So that's a good thing for the whole network. for blockchains. Okay, thank you all. Thank you all. Now it's time for our second and last round of lucky draws. Rules remain the same. You can type your address right now. Get ready, guys. Type. Okay, go. 3, 2, 1, stop. Awesome. That's all for our lucky draw tonight. Our staff is working on the result, and 8 winners will be announced in our community and via Twitter right after. And your addresses will receive shortly. Thank you. Thank you all for the insights. We appreciate you guys joining us and sharing your thoughts on Solana. Let's call it a wrap tonight. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
And thank you all the audience for viewing. See you next time.
See you next time.